Good morning, everyone. I'll turn my heater off real quick. What is today? Wednesday, the 17th. It is stormy and windy here. It's not windy at the moment, but it comes and goes. But the lights were flickering earlier. And when the lights flicker here, because I'm in the city, then you know it's people are losing their power if the lights flicker here. And I walked outside, it was like, man, you could just tell there's going to be so many trees down around here. It's not even funny, because those new winds that the government conjures up, they're called streamline winds, and it's basically like a hurricane force wind, but it only happens in a very narrow section, like the width of a street. Sometimes there's videos from 10 years ago where I remember seeing this one video in a McDonald's parking lot where you have debris flying down the parking lot like it's a tornado, yet there's no wind a block away. So, but it's not a tornado. So anyway, and then they're saying, I don't know if it's true or not, but they're talking, I seen something about a snowmageddon, that hopefully that's for the mountains, for like 10 to 15 feet of snow. I know that's not going to be down here. Although I did see on Christmas, it shows a couple of snowflakes. So I'll have to look into that. Wednesday evening where you're at, right on. And my sleep schedule was all messed up. I went to bed early, and then I got up at like 10 o'clock. I'm like, oh shit, this is not good. I'm always in bed at 10 o'clock. Heard sirens. Wasn't sure what that was. But luckily I was able to go back to sleep. But then I didn't get up until I normally already have my thumbnail set. So, and then I go on X, and there's not a whole lot going on X. I can't do the Candace Owens today. I don't have it in me. So we are a Jewish nation now, though, if you guys didn't know that. Shabbat Shalom, Happy Hanukkah, and all of that. Tommy, good morning. Good to see you. Hump Day. I play that Hump Day Camel commercial for my students every Wednesday. They love it. Yeah, that was a great commercial. Sorry, I swear I hear, like, I don't know if that's the wind howling out there or what. Sounds like a ghost. Daniel Berry, good morning. Good to see you. Co-Train, welcome back. Good to see you. Hope you're doing good. When people don't show up to the show for a few days, we send out the Mossad agent. So we've been watching you. We've been watching you at work and get ready for. We've been watching you brush your teeth in the morning, so we know what's going on. We got spies all over the world, the Musada crew. So welcome back, Co-Train. Holy smokes, let me turn my volume down. I worked my ass off yesterday, which is why my sleep schedule's off. I basically started working at midnight. I mean, that's how early I go to bed. Then I did my show for 2 hours yesterday. Then I went back to work until I took a nap at like noon for an hour and a half. And then I went back to work. And I worked all the way up until about 6 p.m. So just nonstop. But I cranked it out because I have some events coming up this weekend. So, and I'm hoping to put some more stuff in that store that I was at. She took a bunch of my hot cocoa bombs and turtles, and she said they're already half gone. So I might run back up there this morning. But yeah, there's not a whole lot going on in the news. Apparently, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I think that Rob Reiner's kid decapitated his dad. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I heard. So he was fucking crazy town. Good thing you are a good napper. Yep, you already know. Well, that's the one thing about working for yourself, you know. If you can just work around your own schedule, you know what I mean? Which is, it's perfect for me because I am not a good 9 to 5er. I mean, I could do it if I had to, you know, like get into the routine, but I just work whenever, you know, it shifts sometimes. Sometimes I'm doing it at night. Sometimes I'm doing it during the day. It kind of just really depends. Yeah, it's crazy, Tommy. And I heard David Spade said something about it, but there's just so many weird things. So he was at somebody's house for a party, and they were heard arguing like that night. I can't remember whose house it was. And then Michelle Obama says that her and Barack were supposed to meet Rob Reiner. They were friends, and they were supposed to get together that night or the next day or something, which is weird. A lot of coincidences around that. You want to see the last time I napped? The last time I napped was in a jail cell. You want to see content? Well, see, I have to nap because I don't sleep, but like a good night's sleep for me is 5 hours. Like if I wake up with 5 hours straight, oh man, I'm stretching my arms, and it's like, you already know it's going to be a good day. If I can get 5 hours straight, if I can get 4, I'm happy. I'm good. But a lot of times it's less than that. So, you know, it'll be like 3.5 hours, and then I'm up, and then, you know, I'll do my show, go back to bed for a couple hours. A lot of times it's like that. He was meeting Barack Obama that night for dinner. That's what it was? Okay. Are you sure they weren't supposed to meet with... No, that's what it sounds like, right, Sweet Tea? You know, that's what it sounds like. The whole thing is just really sad, you know. It's really sad. It's really sad that it gets to the point where, I mean, it really pisses me off, to tell you the truth, because I lost a lot of people on Facebook, and I still feel the effects to this day from it. I mean, I basically got shut out of events from Muckleshoot because of Trump. I mean, I did. You know, he got shot, and then I went off on people the next day. I mean, I was already going off on people on July 13th when it happened. But the next day I printed off stickers, and I put them on I put it on a lemonade cup, and I took a picture of it, me holding it up, and put it on Facebook. I mean, you guys know when I get pissed off and I want to make a point, I'll make a fucking point. And nobody can make a point like me. And I pissed off a lot of people. And I lost over 150 people in 24 hours. And I lost thousands of dollars because of that. I mean, it's uncountable what happened. It's just like my business, like it forced me to just kind of pivot because of Trump. Directly because of Trump. You know, that's just the political climate that we live in. You know, but I don't regret it because, you know, when it comes to human beings and somebody getting shot in the face, I'm going to take a stand and say, no matter what they're saying, unless they're saying they want to kill us, that they don't deserve to be shot in the face. And I especially don't want to be friends with anybody that's going to fucking, you know, too bad they missed. I mean, that it fucking set me off. So anyway, then you hear Trump talk about Rob Reiner the way that he did. in his tweets. And it's like, you motherfucker. Not only have you not fulfilled any of the promises you fucking made us, and now we find out you're the fucking greatest Jewish president of all time. Did anybody know Trump is Jewish? I mean, a year ago, I could have cared less. To each their own. Do what the fuck you want. Today, I need to know that before I vote for you. I'm not anti-Semitic, but I do need to know your religion before I cast my vote from here on out. For everybody. Just me personally. I need to know everybody I vote for. I need to know your religion. So put that on the ballot, please. CG2, good morning. Stephen Mornello, good morning. Sorry, I forgot you were up there too. Yes, good morning. You were way up at the top. Yeah, so, okay. Now, Tommy said we got to go to his page really quick. Hold on. Sorry, guys. My brain is like right now. I'm trying to keep it. You know, it's like the ocean is just kind of slowly, man, it's getting a little too wobbly out here. It's getting a little angry. I'm trying not to. I'll fucking go off this morning. I can already tell. That's why I don't even want to talk about Candace or none of that stuff. Oh, wow. We have live windstorm chase. Atmospheric river, Washington State. You know, this is, I don't want to go off this morning. You know, I already know that it's the government is doing this, and I'm not even kidding. Because you want to know how you know that this is fucking tomfoolery when it comes to the weather here? Is because anytime they have a fire or any type of emergency and they give it a name, like the Canyon River Complex fire, you already know that they fucking started that fire. And the evacuation orders is nothing more than a land grab of certain areas. And you just, that's all fucking documented shit. Bureau of Land Management's involved. All kinds of fucking people get involved in that shit. Well, here they have an evacuation order. You can't just issue an evacuation order. It has to be the go now. It's the go now in quotation marks evacuation order. Now, that might go over everybody's head, but for somebody like me, who's been doing this basically my whole adult life, as soon as I hear that they give it a name, and they gave it the name Go Now. Up until even yesterday, they gave this name like a week ago, and they're still calling it the Go Now evacuation orders. I'm like, oh, wow, there's a land grab. That's 100% what that is. So what that means exactly is basically like with the Palisade fires, same exact thing. It's nothing more. It's miniature versions of that. It's where they create an emergency and they will burn your house down, or they will flood you out and they will take your land. That's the bottom line. Regardless of how you want to chalk it up and the details in between, problem, reaction, solution. The problem is, we fucked up and we didn't do this. All the houses burnt down. The reaction is like, oh my God, now what are we going to do? And the solution is, well, we're just going to fucking tear everything down and we're going to build this new high-tech, fire-resistant, automated city, and you guys can all get fucked. That's basically what they're doing. Tomfoolery, yes. Tommy Stiggs foolery, yes. His son-in-law is Jewish, and I believe his daughter converted. Yeah, no, they're all Jewish. They are all Jewish Zionists. We got duped. But let's look at Tommy's thing real quick here. He said community posts. September 29th, wedding Richie. Wow, look at that. 1943, Richie the Boot's daughter, Rosina, His Vittorio Castle restaurant in New York. Oh, at his. So Richie the Boot had a restaurant. Vittorio Castle. Wow. That's pretty cool. Even AOV said, wow. I took the words out. Caldwell Prison, Essex County, New Jersey. This is what you see on the way in. Fuck. Yeah, I'm good. God, that even the coffee machine looks like an electric chair. It looks like you could go up and pour a cup of coffee and get electrocuted. Talk through a screen. I'd be yelling, rape. Get me out of here, please. Yeah, screw that. Not that one, the prison one. Okay. Bobby Cabert. Nickname for Robert Biasia, notorious captain in the Gambino crime family who ran the organization Northern Jersey's Operation for Gotti. Bobby Cabert. So Bobby Cabert wasn't his real name, huh? Well, I could see why they would call him Cabert because you can't even pronounce Bisaccia. Yeah, Cabert. Live right next here, our 350th consecutive coffee talk. That picture looks AI kind of. Wind down. 2 days ago. Am I missing the prison one? I don't see it. Unless I didn't go down far enough. 6 days ago. Yeah, I must have passed it. Essex County, Charles Daniels. Candy Caddies. Does that say Candy? That is the jail that I was in. It's disgusting. Yeah. Well, I mean, pretty much all jails are disgusting, right? But not that bad. You know, those jails have been around a lot longer than the ones over here. I've only been in a couple around here. They're not fun either, though. That's for damn sure. You have so many. I mean, the last time I was in jail was 2018. And I got let out 24 hours, less than 24 hours later. I shouldn't even have been arrested. And it fucking, you want to get me pissed off. But when I went in there for the first, within the first 10 minutes, somebody was snorting something off a piece of paper with no fucking straw or dollar bill or nothing, just with their fucking nose to the paper. It was fucking within the first 10 minutes. That's what I see. I'm like, get me out of this fucking place. I saw the prison one. Okay. Was that one of the pictures that we were just looking at? County jail, you saw? Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Jail is not fun, that is for sure. You know, they make it pretty easy to go to jail in this country. I'll tell you that over certain things, especially if your ex is marries a cop. I'll just say that. Hold on, I gotta clear my throat. You know what really weirds me out is about the whole Rob Reiner thing. Why I even brought up the fact that possibly the son was decapitated is because I know you guys heard the story about my buddy who killed his roommate and chopped the body up in 2022. And it very well could have been me. And I've told that story before. So when I hear things like that, like he decapitated, his dad or whatever, it automatically makes me think about Nick, people will fucking snap, man. You know what that taught me about Nick and what he did to his roommate. When you think somebody might be crazy, they really probably you cannot underestimate what crazy means. You can't turn your back on somebody like that. Don't let people like that into your house, because nice guys always finish last when it comes to shit. If you think somebody's fucking crazy and they say some shit that just is off, take that seriously, because it could it could really come back to hurt you. The last time I was in jail, the longest I ever did in jail, Sweet Tea, was 10 days. And then I got arrested for driving on suspended license twice. So, just stupid shit, really. I've never been in trouble for anything bad. Could have went to jail for growing pot. I did that when it was highly illegal, but and I did the little bookie thing. I say little bookie thing because I was just a little timer, for like 5 people. Probably could have gotten in trouble for that. I wasn't doing it on the scale of, some people, but when we're young, we all do stupid shit. But that last thing was just, I don't even want to get into it. It's just fucking stupid. Shit happens, especially when you're young and you learn your lesson. Exactly, Steven. That's why we learn to stay home and, not keep certain company and we just exactly learn our lesson. For me, it was just kind of staying away from crazy women. That was part of my problem, I think with a lot of guys, The problem over here in Washington is it's mostly gremlins, all the people, because they don't get any sun and they just kind of like evolve into just like trolls and gremlins. So there's just very few options to choose from. And a lot of those ones are, some of those end up being pretty psychotic. We all make poor choices at one point in our lives, reckless. Yeah, 100%. You are, Cheryl, good morning. Good to see you. They could not take him to his arraignment yesterday because he has not been released by medical. Take that how you will. Arraignments for the weekend charges are always on Tuesday. Because he had been released by medical. Yeah, when if you're gonna stab somebody that when you see the video of the son, I think his name's Nick, clenching his teeth and he looks sideways. Wow, that's crazy. They're both named Nick. The guy that I knew and the son, both named Nick. Wow. Even the Nick that I knew didn't look that crazy, not by a long shot. Matter of fact, if we were to sit and debate before that happened with my buddy Nick, most of you guys would probably, or not, I'm not gonna say you guys, just anybody would say that I was overreacting, because I wasn't saying that I didn't think he would chop somebody's head off. But I was really afraid. And at one point I thought that he might try to shoot me. I thought I was going to get shot because I knew he had a gun. It kind of creeped me out, which is, it's very haunting when something like that happens. Oh yeah, jail for suspended license in Washington. They'll tow your car and put you in jail, depending on what city you're in. 100%. To be fair, all women are crazy. Yeah, and I was only joking, sweet tea. There's plenty of perfectly decent women here in Washington State, I'm sure. Well, let's get to what we got. I don't have only but like a couple videos, and they'll probably end up setting me off the deep end once and for all. So this one, I don't even have any context to this really, but it says basically there was a fertility clinic bombing in Palm Springs back in May. And this FBI guy was asked, the reporter, it's hard to hear, but the reporter asked him, can you confirm that people said that there was FBI at that building the days leading up to that bombing? And then the guy says, no, I can't confirm it. And they shut the interview down.
Combing through right now is kind of what led us to that nihilist belief.
Breaking News Channel 3. We had a reporter on scene at the Twin Nine Palms area yesterday, and community members were telling her that there was an FBI presence there in the days leading up to that. Can you confirm that?
I cannot.
Okay, folks, that concludes this press conference. We're done, folks.
Okay, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
So a reporter says that another reporter had talked to the security guards at that facility, and the security guards were saying there was an FBI presence at that building before the bombing. And then that was their reaction. This is our FBI. So did they catch him? Mustang, the guy that, if you're talking about my buddy Nick, yes, they did. In fact, let me see if I can find the video of him being arrested. Jesus Christ, what? No. What the fuck? They found him incompetent to stand trial, so he's not going to prison. Holy shit. It says prosecutors say Nicholas Van Cleve allegedly shot his roommate, 41-year-old Richard Levitas, 5 times in the back of the head. After murdering the victim, the defendant then took the extensive and extreme steps to hide the crime, including dismembering the victim's body, concealing the remains in multiple places throughout the home, and then concocting an elaborate story to cover up his act of murder when contacted by police. And you know, the thing is he is absolutely, he is crazy. But that just fucking sent chills down my spine, man, because I don't know if you guys can see this, but I worked with this guy and we played poker together, and he got multiple sclerosis, and I believe that the medication that when he said he got MS, they put him on some medication. This is when everything started going downhill. He got these weird Batman circles around his eye. His hairline changed. This is back like in 2009. I just personally noticed this. I'm a nerd. I just notice weird things about people. But other than that, and he told me that it felt like he was walking on pins and needles because of the medication. Okay. Then we lose contact and fast forward to 2021, and I run into him at a friend's house watching a pay-per-view fight. So we man, how's it going, Nick? Haven't seen you in a long time, blah, blah, blah. Well, he come to find out, this dude is fucking nutso, man. I mean, I'm shocked at what I'm hearing. He's telling me that he was being chased by a secret society of Native Americans and that they were going to burn him alive is what they were telling him. And that he was so scared of these people that he locked himself into a bathroom at Safeway at a grocery store and attempted to kill himself and cut his own throat. And then when he's telling me this story, I look at him, and I had not realized this until up to that point. He has a scar from ear to ear on his neck. And I'll never forget the motion he was making, like he had a dull knife, like he was sawing. It's not like he slit his throat. He's like he was make a sawing motion, like he was sawing. Could you imagine sawing your own neck? And the more I listen to, okay, now I'm fascinated and like, okay, what the fuck is going on with this guy? I needed to find out more. I'm like, at one point he was a really good friend of mine, and I kind of want to help him a little bit. Like, what is wrong with you, man? So, and he was really broke at the time, and I had just started my business 2 months ago. Okay, that's about 5 years ago. So he was actually the first guy to help me to help me sell chocolate strawberries. I had been doing this for a couple months, but all I had been doing is delivering, posting on Facebook. People would buy, say, I'll take a dozen, and then I would go deliver to them. That's all I was doing. And I finally decided to set up a tent. Well, he did it with me twice. But he was so fucking nuts and crazy, the things he was telling me, I just couldn't do it. I was like, man, like I said, at one point I was down in his basement. He was renting a house from a mutual friend. He was down in his basement. I was down in his basement. And that's where he had, it was a decent basement down there. And that's where we were doing the strawberries at. We had a table set up and all this stuff, right? This before I had a commercial kitchen or anything. And he was upstairs, and I remember thinking to myself, because of the things that he was saying, I was like, man, if he comes down here with a gun and shoots me, they're never going to find my body. I remember thinking that to myself, because that's how nutso he was. But I never thought that he would do something like that. And then when I heard that, because I quit talking to him, and I hadn't talked to him for over a year, and then that happened. So, and there's video of him being arrested. I don't know if I'm going to find it, or if, it's nothing bad or anything like that, but it just kind of shows. But the reason I sorry guys, it just kind of, but it says that he lacked the current capacity to understand the nature of the proceedings against him. Van Cleve's ability to assist in his defense. According to King County prosecutors, they would If found incompetent stand trial, they are committed to a facility like Western State Hospital. Oh, that's just right down the street. That's fucking wonderful. You know, because I've had nightmares about him fucking doing this to me, believe it or not. The motherfucker. I mean, wow. Just wow. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to see if I can find a video of him being arrested so you could just make a reference of. Well, I could go to his Facebook for you. What is this? Sorry, I'm going to close those out. Wow, that wind is kicking up. You missed what he did, Cheryl. Well, what he ended up doing. So here's how it ended up. So I had just started my business, and the place I was at, where I was living, it was not equipped for me to start this business, and I had no commercial kitchen or the money to do a commercial kitchen at that time. So I needed to move. And so I was looking for a place, and it was right before I found this place. But my buddy Nick, the guy who did this, he was living in this huge house. There was a couple of people that were living there that just moved out. And my buddy Kevin, he owns the house. Okay. And so I know the owner of the house, and they wanted me to move in. And I was definitely thinking about it. In fact, I was going to. But then after finding out that how crazy he was sounding, and then I found out he was behind on the rent by like 3 months. I'm like, man, I'm not getting myself into this situation. So he ended up getting kicked out of that house. He moves in with another guy that he used to work with. They end up having problems because Nick is talking crazy. He gets kicked out. This guy Richard kicks him out because he finds Nick with a gun. And when you're that mentally unstable, nobody wants to be around anybody with a gun. Just like I said, when I was saying that, I could just picture him shooting me down in his basement, right? So that guy kicks him out. You got to go. Can't live here no more. And then that night or a couple nights later, he sneaks back in because he had made a copy of the key. Sneaks back in and shoots him in the back of the head 5 times, and then he chops his body up. And like the upper torso was found in the closet, and the rest of it was found in 2 separate garbage bags. The rest of his body. It's just fucking bone chilling. And then he's a really kind of nerdy guy. He's not dangerous in the sense like, and he could overpower no man. You know what I mean? He's just and he talks kind of with a squeaky girlish voice, And when the cops arrest him, he's like, "Hey, did one of you guys have a cigarette? Do you have a cigarette? Neither one of you guys have a cigarette? I really need a cigarette." He's really fucking annoying like that. It's weird. So, but that said, I was telling people before this happened how crazy Nick was. And that because what I told people that I believed that what he was saying that he truly believed. And, I'm as deep as a conspiracy theorist as they go. And I do know that there are secret societies out there, especially the Native Americans. Of course, they have their own secret societies. Were they chasing him and trying to burn him alive? I don't know. Probably not. Did he somehow cross paths with somebody out there in the demonic world and, late at night looking for meth or something? Who knows? Who knows? All I know is that he is legit crazy, obviously. But come on. What kind of world do we live in where, if you chop somebody up, you can't go to prison? Shouldn't a mental institution be for people that want to give you all their money and see, people are always in voices in their heads? I don't know. Because as far as I know, that they don't have, this is going to end up being the fucking Michael Myers bullshit. This is going to end up being the fucking Halloween story, because he's going to be in Lakewood, which is just one city over. And they don't have any fucking prison walls or nothing like that. My mom used to work at Western State. And that's why I say the people that give away money, because we went, she goes, don't take money from anybody. It's sure shit. I swear to God, the first person when I walk in the door, because she was like a receptionist there for something. Some crazy dude was trying to hand me change out of his pocket. So I did escape a dangerous situation, Cheryl. I truly believe that, but I'm glad we went down that road, because I had no idea. I kind of had a sneaky suspicion that might happen. And I'm just really shocked at the moment. Incompetent to stand trial, and is going to go to Western State for shooting his roommate 5 times in the back of the head and chopping his body up. So if you're going to do something, you have to go fucking ape shit, banana, retard, fucking crazy, and then they'll let you off, I guess. James, hello, good to see you. Let's move on. Let's move on to our wonderful Jewish president, Mr. Donald, and now we know what the J stands for, Donald Jew Trump. You Jew bastard, you. You notice Trump rocking back and forth like a baby over there to the right, underneath that giant mistletoe, underneath that giant Jeffrey Epstein, where's my 15-year-old's mistletoe? Wrapped in the Jewish or the Israeli flag, it looks like, up top there, blue and white.
Thank you very much. Wish everyone a happy Hanukkah.
So you guys know who Addison Miriam is, whatever her name is. We'll get back to that one.
Miriam Adelson. You want to come up?
Miriam Adelson, that's her name. She is the largest donor to Trump's campaign. And she is, I think she's, I don't want to get in trouble, but, the things that are going on over in Gaza and all that, I think she's one of the main people that are in support of flattening Gaza. And she's the largest contributor to the Republican Party, to Trump's campaign or whatever. And she wants him to run again. And she said she'll give him $250 million if, even though he's not allowed to run again, that he will run again.
Miriam Adelson. You want to come up, Miriam? Come up here, Miriam. Miriam gave my campaign indirectly and directly $250 million. She was number one. When somebody can give you $250 million, I think that we should give her the opportunity to say hello. And Miriam, make it quick, because $250 million is not what it used to be. Okay? Hello, darling. Come on. Incredible woman with a great husband, a man that loved Israel.
Well, Mr. President, when you were in the Israeli parliament and you gave a speech and you saw me from far away, at that time I came with a scooter to the parliament
That's right.
just to hear you. I wanted to hear you alive. And then you say, Miriam Adelson, and I stood for a second, but it was so painful, so I sat. Then you screamed, Miriam, stand up! And I wish you would have known, but I stood up and heard all your compliment, and thank you very much.
I saw you back there standing.
Yeah, you saw me.
She stood
Thank
up
you.
bravely.
And now I met Alan Dershowitz, and he said the legal thing about 4 more years. And I said, Alan, I agree with you. So we can do it. Think about it. And
Alan's
I
here
would be-
someplace. Where's Alan?
Alan is here, or he had a flight? Alan is here? Think about it.
Thank you.
Maybe I will be the first one to tell you, or second. Yeah.
She said, think about it. I'll give you another 250.
I will give.
But her husband, Sheldon, was an amazing guy. And he'd come up to the office, and there was nobody more aggressive than Sheldon. I think I spent more time with him and you, because you usually came up together. But he'd call and say, can I come over, please? I say, Sheldon, I'm president of the United States. It doesn't work that way anymore. It's like maybe tomorrow. How about tomorrow? No, please, just for a little while. And I would, he'd always say 10 minutes. It turned out to be about an hour and a half, right? And what he did is he fought for Israel. That's all he really fought for. He just wanted to take care of. He just wanted to take care of Israel. So he was a great guy. He was a fantastic man, and he loved you so much. He couldn't see straight. So good. Thank you, darling. Be careful.
What does she do to make that kind of money? It's a good question. Let's find out. How did Miriam Adelson make her money? Mainly from her ownership and control of Las Vegas Sands, the giant casino and resort company her late husband Sheldon Adelson built into one of the world's most profitable gambling empires. After Sheldon's death in 2021, she inherited his shares and became one of the richest people on the planet. The vast majority of her money comes from the Las Vegas Sands core. The business was founded and expanded by her husband. She inherited ownership stakes in it, which are now worth tens of billions. Macau and international operations. So they make huge profits from their casinos in Macau, China. She is the publisher of the Israeli Hayam, a widely read Israeli newspaper. In 2023, she purchased a controlling interest in the Dallas Mavericks. And before all this, she was a physician specializing in addiction treatment and founded addiction clinics with her husband, which I'm sure they made quite a bit of money off of that too. So, wonder if she's related to Donna Adelson. I'm not sure who that is. Let's see here. Is she related to Donna Adelson? She is not known to be related to Donna Adelson. Donna Adelson is a member of a separate American family involved in high-profile criminal case in Florida. She was convicted in 2025 for orchestrating her former son-in-law's murder. Oh, that lady. Okay, now I know who you're talking about. Maybe that's how Donna Adelson is staying out of jail. Well, you never know. I mean, so if they were related, they wouldn't make it public. And if they were related, she absolutely could keep her out of jail. You know what I mean? With that type of money. You can bribe a president. You can bribe anybody, you know. Well, that's not true, but mostly anybody. Definitely law enforcement. You were thinking Wendy the daughter. Yeah, I don't know too much about that case. I just heard a little bit about it. But yeah, so what are we even talking about? 4 more years. What does that even mean? I mean, where's ALV at? You know, we need a lawyer. I already know what he's going to say. He's already said it. He can't run again. So they would have to. Is it possible for Trump to run for president again? What laws would have to change in order for him to do so? Or the other thing, it has to be a wartime conflict, right? The barrier is the 22nd Amendment. No person may be elected president more than twice. Option 1, 2/3 vote for a constitutional amendment of the 22nd Amendment. Yeah, that's a rabbit hole I don't want to go down this morning. That just broke my brain. I hate when they chant like that. Yeah. If they change anything for him to stay, we will be fucked when the Dems. Yeah, exactly, Coach Train. That's why we don't want to do that. You know, 8 years is long enough. You know, they have permanent DC anyways, you know, the people that really run shit. So it's not really going to matter anyways. But you're right. The last thing we need is, oh, no, thank you. Never open a door that can't be closed. You're right. All right, what else we got? Let me go back up to the top here. So we had the singing. And, you know, and to be fair, I don't think there's anything wrong with that religion at all. You know, when it comes to politics, they'll twist and, you know, they're trying to make people anti-Semitic and hate the Jews and all that kind of stuff. But that's not what it is. It's all about we're a Christian nation and we should be ran by a Christian, in my opinion, not a Jew that's pro-Israel and pro-killing innocent people. We can't have that. At least it should be, like I said, it should be on the ballot. Don't tell us you want to make America great again. And then cheer on the genocide of the Palestinians and talk about Riviera resorts and all this fucking bullshit. And you're just, you know, I mean, it's not what we voted for. My opinion. You know, I don't know why they can't just be honest. You know, Turning Point USA and all this is supposed to be like some political juggernaut. Man, they just came out of the woodwork. That's like the fucking Amway. The Amway of fucking politics, man. A whole bunch of fucking nothing. Sit there and listen to fucking hours and hours and hours of nothing. Of fucking just mumbo jumbo. You too can be a double diamond. You know, we need to get a downline. We need to get a downline started for you, get a retail line going. What we're going to do is I need to go talk to all your friends and family. We'll go through them first, get your inner, we'll make you some circles, you know, get you a downline, go and get you some residual income. Don't listen to 98% of people because they're going to tell you that it won't work. You know, you're a 2%er. It's just fucking crazy town. Benjamin Netanyahu.
I said, Mike, that we are fighting today the battle that the Maccabees fought. They fought for the survival of the Jewish people and the Jewish faith against an enemy that wanted to extinguish us, wipe us out from the face of the earth. We were fighting our battle, but we were also fighting the battle of civilization, because our civilization is based on the Judeo-Christian tradition. And if the Maccabees had failed, there'd be no Judaism, there would be no Judeo-Christian civilization. There would be no Maccabees. There would be no United States, there wouldn't be the civilization of freedom, the respect for our common traditions, our common values. All of that would not happen if it weren't for those 5 brave brothers. They actually made the whole difference. So that spirit animates these brave soldiers that are here today and their comrades who are fighting in Gaza or in Lebanon or in Iran, wherever is necessary to not only preserve the Jewish nation and the Jewish state, but preserve civilization against the barbarians. The barbarians are out there. They did a horrible thing to us on October 7th. They'll never do it again. But they're doing it against Jews in Sydney and Jews elsewhere in America and elsewhere. This is our common battle against the barbarians. We have won it here. We're winning it here. We'll win it everywhere. Chag Sameach, Chag Chanukah Sameach Likulchem. Toda rabba lachem.
You know, that guy was saying the same thing 40 years ago about, you know, oh, and the Bondi Beach thing in Australia is so believable too. Motherfucker's got Benny Boy has to go 100%. He's been there the whole time though, you know. You know, I just watched a video of him from 1980, literally talking about Hamas and all this same shit. 1980 something. He's got to go. He does have to go. All right, Gary Busey. Busey, I'm not sure how you say it. He has a Christmas gift for us.
Hey, it's Gary Busey, and I have got a great Christmas present for you. Listen to this. Honk! Honk! That's what a goose sounds like when they're flying. They let you know they're up there. Honk! Honk! You get a bunch of geese together. Honk, honk, honk. They're honking in the air. Hey, it's Gary.
So, all right. We got a little Christmas present from Gary Busey. You know, I mean, what movies was he in? Like, what was his claim to fame? I always get him mixed up with Nick Nolte. What movies was Gary Busey in? Let's see what we got here. Over 100 credits. Jesus. The Buddy Holly story. He played Buddy Holly and earned an Oscar nomination. Okay. Silver Bullet, Straight Time, Barbosa, Lethal Weapon. Okay, so he was Lethal Weapon. See, that's why I was getting him and Nick Nolte mixed up, because I always think it's Nick Nolte and Lethal Weapon. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Under Siege. She was in that one. Okay. That's the one I was thinking of. You guys ever watch Under Siege? That was a good one. Oh, yeah, and Point Break. So he was in a lot of those movies. See, I always get him mixed up with Nick Nolte. Point Break was a fucking phenomenal movie. He does look like Nick Nolte on crack. He had a bad motorcycle accident. I did not know that. I want a refund, right? Yeah, Point Break. that was a when that movie came out, man, I fucking love that movie with Patrick Swayze as Bodie. Wasn't that his name, Bodie? He's like, Keanu Reeves, you got to go down, Bodie. You got to go down. And he goes out into the water to ride that last wave. I politely refused his Christmas gift, whatever the fuck that was. Totally agree. So apparently there's a drama at the White House where Susie Wiles did a Vanity Fair. They're calling it a Vanity Fair hit piece, but it says that she trashes President Trump, top individuals within his administration and MAGA in a new interview with Radical Left Vanity Fair. She compared Trump to an alcoholic, said that she urged him not to pardon the January 6th political prisoners, called J.D. Vance a lifelong conspiracy theorist, and said that his conversion to MAGA was political. So she's trying to sabotage him, apparently. Which I knew she was a snake the whole time. They all are.
Let me get into some of the main things that I found very notable from what Chris Whipple, who works with Vanity Fair, detailed from their conversations. One is that Wiles referred to President Trump as someone having a, quote, alcoholic personality. She also talked a lot about the vice president, J.D. Vance, someone who I should note, had this conversion that Whipple noted as well from never Trumper to a MAGA acolyte. Susie Wiles essentially said that change, that conversion has been, quote, sort of political. And she said the vice president has been a, quote, conspiracy theorist for a decade. She also talked about Russell Vought. He is the White House budget chief, but he's also, of course, one of the architects of that notorious Project 2025 conservative blueprint for the future Republican Party, something that Trump had previously, of course, disavowed. She argued that Vought is, quote, a right-wing absolute zealot. And then she also went into a number of different things. One, she talked about Pam Bondi, the attorney general, someone who was one of her closest friends, I should note, in this administration. She argued that Bondi, quote, completely whiffed the handling of the Epstein file. She also talked about how the president, who came in and offered a series of pardons to really roughly 1,000 people who were convicted for their crimes on January 6th, she essentially admitted that she had urged the president not to pardon those who had committed violent crimes on January 6th and on the Capitol attack. She also talked about how she disagreed with him sometimes when it came.
It's hard to listen to those reporters sometimes talk. I've seen something on the news today about calling him an alcoholic behavior. Yeah. Well, if that's true, what's going on, then it serves him right. Look at how he treated Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was his number one supporter. Nobody fought harder for Trump than she did. And now she's Marjorie Taylor Greene. And because of that, she's had pipe bomb threats and all kinds of death threats, even on her son and stuff like that. It's crazy. She was on Alex Jones yesterday talking about it. Here's Michelle talking about Rob Reiner.
I feel like I should bring up, I know you and your husband were friends with Rob and Michelle Reiner, and I'm very sorry for your loss.
Oh, my God.
How long have you known the Reiners?
We've known them for many, many years, and we were supposed to be seeing them that night, last night. And we got the news. And let me just say this, unlike some people, Rob and Michelle Reiner are some of the most decent, courageous people you ever want to know. They're not deranged or crazed. What they have always been are passionate people in a time when there's not a lot of courage going on. They were the kind of people who were ready to put their actions behind what they cared about. And they cared about their family, and they cared about this country, and they cared about fairness and equity. And that is the truth. I do know them.
The only thing about that interview that stands out to me is there's a little glitch in the matrix right there. She kind of reads the script when she says,
last night, many, many years, and we were supposed to be seeing them that night. Last night.
We were supposed to be seeing them that night. Last night. So she kind of gave away the fact that, you know, that was part of the script. Just my opinion. Take that as you will. Kind of sounded like, you know, that story had already been known from her for a long time. Like that happened a long time ago. Just my own personal little opinion on that one. Who knows with these fucking people, man. And it's not like their chef didn't die, and you know they've definitely have a lot of mysterious deaths around them too, them and the Clintons. Here is our FBI. This is our qualified FBI looking for clues for the Brown University shooter. They're using their boots. This is 3 days after the shooting.
You can see them that they're kicking the snow out of the way, methodically looking step by step, looking to see if there's anything in the snow at all that can help point them in the right direction in this investigation. And if you look over across the street, Seth, for those of us just show, let me see right over here. There's that team as well. They're doing the exact same thing across the street.
We're looking right now at the FBI, who is gathered there as part of the investigation. And John, at times we've seen them with actual rakes combing through some of the snow-covered ground there, some of the...
So there's our high-tech FBI with their high-tech equipment. Oh, it was Conan O'Brien's. That's right, Cheryl. Thank you. Leslie Robbins' son got into a big heated argument at Conan. Yeah, that's what I heard as well. So sad, you know. And
I said, this is our first Jewish president. No, he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies. We thank you for everything.
That's right. Bad things happened on the second one. Namely, the election was rigged. And we found out, and you see that happening. But
And you are the greatest president.
Thank you very much.
And God bless you. I miss you. I miss you. And I said, this is our first Jewish president.
how many Jewish presidents of the United States has there been? I'm going to ask ChatGPT that really quick. Just curious. I always thought they were Christian myself. I had no idea. I've never heard in the history books growing up about, oh yeah, well, such and such was a Jew or such and, you know what I mean? Like, what? What are we doing? Exactly. And the deceased apologized for his son's behavior, but he was addicted. Yeah. Yeah. You know, you see those stories or the interviews with Rob and his son, and you can just tell that, you know, Rob was a good dad. It looked like. Just why are we taking so long, ChatGPT? You don't want to answer that question or what? How many Jewish presidents have there been? I want an answer. Huh. We're not going to get an answer to that. Okay. No problem. No problem. I'll find out eventually. Just very weird to me. I don't like it at all. This is sad. Talking about sad. Hall of Fame boxer Thomas Hearns discovers he was a victim of fraud that resulted in him losing his mansion. I didn't watch this whole video. I may not play the whole thing, but I do want to listen to a little bit of it. And maybe we can learn something from this. And ChatGPT, you can kiss my butt. Okay, hold on. Can you imagine how much money was in Conan's house with all those people? Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Probably, you know, especially the people, you know, they don't tell you about, right? The producers, executive people.
Junior, right? You go by Tom?
Thomas.
Thomas. All right. Champ, your sisters and your daughter got a hold of me. Worried about you. Obviously, you look good. You're eating. Everything well?
Everything well, yeah.
Okay. So I don't really get involved in people's lives unless they're asking. So I just want to, you know, your house is gone. Sold. Taxman took it. Did you know that?
Right.
Did you know, it appears to me, Champ, I think you were the victim of fraud on that house, if I can show you. And I think we can get money back for you.
Mm-hmm.
This was your mortgage in 2004. It's a home equity line. This is you paid off that mortgage in 2020. So you made all your payments. You own that home outright. Can I, this is your signature, is it not, Champ? Right here?
Yep.
Okay. So that's your mortgage. That's you paying off your mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did everything right. In 2000, do you know a man named Jack Wolf?
Yeah.
Jack issued you a mortgage for $90,000 in 2014. Jack even set up your business. So the man that's giving you a mortgage set up your business papers. It's very strange. This is the foreclosure on your home that very same year, not even in the legal period, all within 10 months. Okay? So far, got me? He can't take your house. Citibank is the creditor that's first in line, not Jack Wolf. You know where Jack is right now?
No.
He's in the state penitentiary for stealing people's property and faking their signature. He never owned your house. Although this, he says he did. He foreclosed on you and then he sold it to another LLC or gave them a mortgage for $50,000. He can't do a mortgage. Then he got rid of that and gave you a land contract to a home that you already own, champ. How are you doing paying for a house that you're already paying on?
You know, sometimes I have to laugh at some of this stuff. But these guys, they run deal people any kind of way sometimes. And sometimes I look at them, I go, where you coming to check? Where you coming? Who are you? What you trying to do? And they don't have a straight answer for you.
That's your life, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's your life. You make the money and people coming at you and they don't make sense and you did it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Even these guys like Jack Wolf.
Yeah.
Thomas, they deeded a piece of your dad's house to you. Do you know anything about it?
Yes.
Can you explain it there? So, because this is the foreclosure document. You owed $100,000 in taxes. They sold your house for $226,000. You're entitled, at least you were till the window closed, to $126,000, which is what you got paid for the first minute of that haggler fight. I want to help you get that, but what happened? The note was getting paid, then the taxes stopped.
So that is a private family matter. The company, SPMA LLC, is my company and his company.
That's all you want to say about it?
Right.
Okay, well, if you look here, champ, if you look at this sentence, you can get the extra after they take the bit of taxes out that you stop paying. There's $126,000 there, except the window closed.
Repeat that again.
You owed $100,000 in taxes on a house you owned outright. The county sold your house for $226,000. That's a difference of $126,000, which you're entitled to by law. But the window closed. So it'll be difficult. Again, there's a lot of people respect you. People you don't even know. They'll help you. Yeah.
So, yes, we got attorneys.
So we're not going to talk. You didn't redeem the money, right? You didn't know about that?
No.
Man, that's so messed up, man. It is sad. I mean, if you got to explain to somebody, if you have to repeat to them that, there's a $126,000 that you should have got. I mean, that is as basic of math. I mean, that's not even, you're not even talking about math. That's just more like a mental, capacity. They're taking advantage of that, man. And that guy sitting next to him should be ashamed of himself. What a dirty motherfucker, boy. Why don't you go out and sell some fucking chocolate strawberries or some lemonade, dude, and quit being a vampire? My God. Like that guy said, and you're talking about, obviously he could use that $126,000 in which he made in 1 minute of one fight at one point in his life. That's why I always say, like, if I ever get rich or successful, and I'm never fucking buying expensive, none of that shit, ever, because that's what happens every time. And then you're sweating over $126,000 when people that ain't never even been nowhere near as successful as you could lose $126,000, and it wouldn't even be the end of the world for them. So how does that work? It's because you got people like that next to you that are just straight up fucking horrible human beings, man, with no soul. That sucks. But the other guy that ripped him off is in jail, but you're not going to get ripped off unless you got some help from the inside. I mean, the people, if the person around you is trustworthy, that's not going to happen. I'm sure it happens all the time. Poor guy. Does not seem like the brightest guy, unfortunately.
You want to come up, Muriam?
We already did that one. I think that was it. Yeah. That was it on those. Let's hear Rob Schneider's take on President Trump's tweet about Rob Reiner.
We are allowed to have these conversations. We are allowed to disagree with the president and even say outrageous things that he said. I don't want to repeat them, but I think like the president yesterday, I think he must rise above it. And he seems incapable of rising above the situation and being the president of all of us and just saying what it was. Maybe he wasn't a fan of mine, but I was a fan of his. He made great films. He was a great artist, and leave it at that. And I think we must move away from this the rhetoric of anger and hostility and not take everything personally. I mean, Rob Reiner and I, maybe we would disagree vehemently politically, but we can agree comedically. We can agree on what made those movies so funny that he made. We are allowed to have these conversations.
I agree that, it's just Tommy is so punch drunk. Yeah. I would watch him on, there was a great podcast with him. It was on Mike Tyson's old podcast with Mike Tyson, Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, and who was the other one? Hagler? There was 4 legends sitting there. It's pretty good. Pretty good thing. But yeah, he's definitely is punch drunk. I seen James Woods talking about Rob Reiner. See if I can find it.
James, how did you know Rob Reiner?
I knew Rob Reiner because at a very, very down point in my career, Rob literally saved my career and really put me back on track in a way that was so important and rewarding in my life. And he really fought for me when the studio didn't want me in a movie. I was 32 years too young for the part, but he really believed that I was right and could do it. It was something that virtually nobody agreed with except one of his partners, Martin Schaefer, who was the head of Castle Rock and one of the greatest production companies ever. And we did Ghosts of Mississippi together, and I went from really being basically out of a job to getting an Academy Award nomination, and I give all the credit to Rob. And it's funny, people would have seen, it's impossible to talk about him in the past tense, but I'd be at a party at my friend's house, and people who didn't know that Rob and I knew each other, they'd see us laughing and, kidding each other, and they'd go, "How is it that you and Rob Reiner are friends?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" They said, "Well, you're so different in your politics and so on." I said, "Look, let me explain something about Rob Reiner so that you know. First of all, I judge people by how they treat me, and Rob Reiner was a godsend in my life. We got along great. We loved each other. We had more fun together doing a very serious subject. It was a way to kind of get through it. And he was always on my side. But when people would say to me, "Well, what do you think of his politics?" I would say, "I think Rob Reiner is a great patriot." Do I agree with some of or many of his ideas on how that patriotism should be enacted to celebrate the America that we both love? No. But he doesn't agree with me either, but he also respects my patriotism. We had a different path to the same destination, which was a country we both loved. And when people would say terrible things to me on social media about him, I said, "You got it all wrong." And yes, I can see how you can disagree with him, but because you disagree with people doesn't mean that you have to hate people. And what Rob and I could do, Rob and I could sit in a room.
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing to hear that. I don't think that anybody deserves to have a tweet put out like that about them. Now, if Trump wanted to tweet about Benjamin Netanyahu, if he got killed, I would be okay with that if he put out a tweet like that, but he wouldn't. He would say, oh, he's the greatest fucking thing since peanut butter and jelly. Donna, good morning. Good to see you. Yeah, rest in peace, Rob Reiner. And Trump, you're a fucking asshole for that tweet, But at this point, it's not a shocker to us, Charlie Kirk's execution was a shocker. No pun intended. But Trump acting like a complete degenerate, not surprising. So, but I totally agree with James Woods because I have a perfect example, and I told this story a couple weeks ago where there's these people that I know that are kind of struggling with their little food. We all are, with our vending businesses, and so I hooked them up with the place that I go on Friday with the Tribal Administration Building. And, they couldn't have more different views about politics. It's so bad. I would never even talk to them. They believe in the trans and all this kind of stuff. And that's fine. I don't have, when it comes to certain things like work and business and, people's livelihoods and, people have kids and stuff like that. Why you shouldn't let politics get in the way. You know what I mean? It's more of just, being kind to one another and helping each other out when you can type of thing. Now, if they're fucking too off the rails, I get it. But the thing is that I'm pretty sure, and here's the thing is I already know what their views are. They don't know what my views are. I'm pretty sure they don't. Maybe they do. I don't think they do. And another person even said this. I thought the same thing. If they did know my views, they would never do anything like that for me. Because that's how people are. A lot of people are just like that. If they find out that, your views are a certain way, you are the enemy to them. And it's people in your own family are like that too. So it is what it is. I like what James Wood says there. He seems like a real guy, somebody that can have different views. And even though Rob Reiner's gone, James Woods has the, he has the morality to do the right thing and say the right thing, unlike the people that are trying to, from Turning Point USA, that are completely trying to change what Charlie Kirk said. Somebody in that organization helped kill him, and now they're trying to turn around and make it seem like he was all pro-Israel. And I mean, you guys know the story. So it's completely different. People like James Woods are far and few between. You know what I mean? So anyway, guys, I am going to end the show on that note. It seems like the wind calmed down out there, which is a good thing. Hopefully it stays that way. So, because I am going to get to work. And Suzanne, hello. Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. Watch the replay later. Do you not have a wrench? I never can tell because I'm on StreamYard. I don't pay attention, but it doesn't look like you do. So before I go, let me see. There you go. Does everybody else have a wrench that's in here? Pain Like Bane was here. Did not see you, Pain. I'm going to hold off on giving you a wrench, Pain. that might end up being a pain in my ass. I don't know. Oh, it was in my other name and I erased that one. Okay, yeah, no worries. All right, guys, have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.